Hey everyone, it's me, Sammy. Finally posting again on this channel. It's been a while. Um, yeah, today's video is just going to be a bit of a rumble about what's been going on with me, my life, my health, and everything just surrounding that, I guess. It's not ASMR if this is the first time you're watching a video on this channel. I am soft speaking right now, and I'll try to keep that up throughout the video, so at least you can still have somewhat of an ASMR effect. But yeah, it's not ASMR, it's more of a just a channel where I can express myself and tell my stories and put things out there, because it definitely helps talking. Even if I'm sat talking to a camera right now, I can envision you guys at least behind the camera, so it means a lot. A lot of the things I'm going to touch on today are, like I said, relevant to my health, my illness. So what I would suggest is, if you haven't watched I don't know if it's going to come up here or here, but I'll link it with a card. If you haven't watched my second ever video on this channel, it talks you through a little bit of my health journey in these past 2 years, and basically what's been going on, how it started, how it progressed. I'm still going through it now, but that'll basically give you a good bit of background knowledge as to what's been happening there, because I'm not going to recap it in too much detail. So if you do want to know more, make sure you check out that video. It'll tell you everything you need to know. I'll touch on some bits here and there in this video, but yeah, whatever I'm going to talk on today might make a little bit more sense if you've seen that one. So definitely go and check that out, and I'll put it in the I'll put the link in the description as well for you guys, so you can easily find it. But yeah, today I want to give you an update. I don't know, how much time specifically has passed since I filmed that health video about all the medication I was on, and I'm still on a lot right now. And I can't remember exactly where I was on the timeline of things in that video, but I can still talk about it. So basically, I am a lot better in some ways, in others not so much, but the main part, if you've been keeping up with my journey through that video or just through social media, through me talking about it, you'll know that I don't have a diagnosis for my illness, still waiting on that one, but basically the main problem that I have is I feel I get constant nausea all the time, and that's been the hardest thing to deal with during these 2 years. And about, I don't know exactly, but maybe 5 months ago now, maybe coming up 6 months ago, I was put on a new medication. It was a anti-sickness, anti-nausea medication, which I hadn't been put on before in any shape or form, which, considering my main problem was nausea, that's quite ironic. But finally I found a doctor that prescribed me something like that, and in the months since, the symptoms have definitely decreased to a point of significance, I would say. Negligibility, I would also say. And this is, in terms of that, the best I've ever felt since becoming ill. like I just said, I still don't have a diagnosis. The medication is not treating the problem, it's just suppressing the symptoms. So, based on those two things alone, there's still a long way to go in my journey, in my recovery, if I'll ever recover from this. I call it a chronic illness because I truly believe whatever it is something I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. And it's definitely tough. I think in the previous video I told you guys how strict my diet was. That's eased slightly, but basically I'm still gluten-free. I'm still not dairy-free per se, but I'm lactose-free. So I still have like cheese, which has been processed enough to remove almost all of the lactose in it. I'm not celiac. I don't have celiac disease. I'm not lactose intolerant. But I found that my stomach is sensitive to those two things, as well as the other main one is like caffeine. So yeah, there's no like soft drink, soda, any hot beverages with caffeine like tea, and there's none of that going down. To be honest, there's not there's not a lot that I do drink that's not water or cranberry juice. They're my go-tos. I normally just drink water throughout the day. Here it is. And I'll have 1 glass of cranberry juice a day because that shit is expensive. And only 4 portions. I can only get like 4 portions out of 1 carton of cranberry juice. So I gotta ration it. So yeah, 1 glass a day. There was a whole host of, I was following what's called a low FODMAP diet, FODMAP, low FODMAP. If you Google it, it'll tell you more about what it is, but there's a whole host of things aside from gluten, dairy, and caffeine that was on that I think I'm able to eat. The main ones are like onion and garlic. I still buy foods that don't have them in where I can, but I don't think it's as much as a necessity as it was before. So I've been able to introduce things like that in. There's certain types of like sugars and other, like, it's so confusing, but other molecules and stuff that like I couldn't eat, and I've started to reintroduce some of those into the diet as well, so that hasn't been too bad. But it's still really hard to eat out, get takeaways, anything like that is really hard when you're gluten free, when you're dairy free, and in my case, I'm also allergic to what's called buckwheat, which is a non-gluten containing cereal. So what happens is a lot of companies that make gluten-free products use buckwheat in their products because buckwheat itself doesn't contain gluten, and it's a good alternative to normal wheat. So one of the issues I have is when I look for gluten-free foods, a lot of the substitutes have buckwheat in, and I'm allergic to it. So me eating buckwheat is even worse than me just consuming normal wheat. So much fun and games, basically. So many fun and games with that. That makes it incredibly tough, incredibly anxiety inducing, because for any of you guys watching that have allergies, especially food allergies, you've got to be so careful. And it's scary. Like, the thought of having an allergic reaction is scary. It could just come on any minute, and it's tough. So coming to terms with what you can and can't eat is really, really tough. Um, it's demoralizing in some ways, listening to friends, family talk about this food and that food, and in the back of your mind you're thinking, can't eat that, no, that's no good for me, that's out of order. And it's really depressing, if I'm being honest. I as someone who loves food and enjoys food so much as I used to, or I kind of still do, you know, to go from like no food issues to like so many food issues is like a drastic, significant change in my life, and it's something I'm still adjusting to and coming to terms with, and I don't know if I ever will, because it's that saddening. um, but it's it's just something that I have to do, and I have to live with that. So sorry, my hair out mid video. I've got the flat fringe today as opposed to the pushback that you guys normally see. Um, so yeah, it's incredibly difficult to eat out, to go out, because I'm always thinking about. And the other thing I found with my health is, I've been dealing with my symptoms better if I have smaller portions more often, which is good that I found that. But the bad thing is, it means that every time I go out, that's out of the house for a significant period of time, I'm always having to either take food with me or plan ahead and think, oh, I need to bring this so I can snack on it, or this shop has something that I can buy, or this restaurant has something in it that I can eat. And it's really anxiety inducing as well. So it's a bit of an ordeal. And I've just booked a holiday for the end of September, in a different country. I don't know how much I want to talk about it, but it's in an English speaking country, which is good, at least. So it's easy to get like my dietary and allergy requirements across to like the waiters and waitresses, etc. But going away for like, it's like 10 days for that amount of time. I've never done anything like that since I got ill. I done a visit to London a couple of months ago now. I was away for like 4 days. I managed okay there, but 4 days, 10 days, bit of a difference. And I was in England and not a different country. So this is going to be a new challenge, but I'm going to have to challenge myself and face my fears at the end of the day, I guess. So hopefully that goes well. I'm looking forward to it. I like a lot of you guys probably, I haven't been on vacation or holiday since COVID, and I haven't been just on holiday at all since I think like June 2019. So by the time I go, it'll be well over 3 years, and it's well needed, I think. So hopefully I enjoy myself. Hopefully there's no accidents happen, no allergic reactions, and I navigate everything as best as I can, and I don't feel sick. Is another thing that I hope for, because feeling sick sucks, especially when for about a year and a half I would just feel sick every single day, most hours of the day, and it's demoralizing. If you want to see how demoralizing it is, again, I'm plugging it, but watch that previous video. You will probably see a big difference between me in that video and me in this video. Me in that video was going through it. Let me tell you, me in this video is still going through it, but it's a bit more easier than the previous me. So well done to previous me for getting through it. And hopefully I can film one of these in the future where I'm in an even better position than I am now, and I can look back and hopefully see that I'm even a bit more happier. So fingers crossed. Keep your fingers crossed for me, guys. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still taking like 4 different medications. One's for my mental health. The other 3 are for like my physical stuff. And the other thing that I'm dealing with is side effects of medication. I don't know for certain, but specifically the newest med that I'm taking, the newest pill that I'm taking, that was given to me for the nausea. You're not meant to take that for prolonged periods of time, and I think I've exceeded that, and I'm getting really bad fatigue side effects. So there's a lot of hours in bed at the minute, falling asleep randomly after a good night's sleep. Like I could have like 8 to 10 hours sleep, wake up, and then within 3 hours I'm like falling asleep on the sofa. That's kind of how bad it is. I know to some people that might sound good because you might have a lack of sleep, you might have insomnia, you might struggle getting to sleep, all that stuff. But oversleeping and fatigue is real. I can promise you that it's tough, because you just have no drive or motivation or energy, and that strips you. More time in bed means less time being alive outside of bed, and that's tough to navigate as well. Especially when I've started working again. I'm currently working from home after nearly a year of not doing so. My company that I work for have been thankfully really supportive and just there for me, and understanding through this whole process, especially my manager. So, I'm very thankful for that and to be in a position where I had that support in the first place. So that's good. And I am starting back work again, like I just said. I'm working from home, and I'm doing like a phased return, it's called. So instead of just starting back and doing my full hours, over a 12-week period, I gradually get back to working 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. And there is leeway to, if I'm struggling at any point in that 12-week process, I can come to them and say, look, is there a way we can slow this down or just stick at the level that I'm at? So at least there's options there for me with that, which is great. I was kind of forced to go back because my paid sick leave was running out, and I would go on statutory pay, which is, let's say, significantly less than my full pay, and it's not enough when you've got a house and a car to pay for. So yeah, but thankfully I'm in a position to manage that work, and I've got really supportive company behind me, so that's positive, at least. Yeah, I was going through a bad phase with my mental health a couple of months ago now, a couple of weeks ago. That's thankfully subsided. I'm sure it'll rear its head again. It does, the old depression phases. I still feel sad in general, just with my whole condition, with this recent fatigue. It's tough to navigate, but I'm getting there. I'm getting through it. I'm still enjoying parts of my day, enjoying parts of life, looking forward to things, and I think that's important. I think if I didn't have those positive things to hold on to, then I would be in a much worse position, but I'm not, so we'll take that. We'll definitely take that. Yeah, I realize I'm and ahhing a lot, but there's no script to this. I didn't structure how I was going to talk about things. I just knocked the camera on, and here I am speaking to you guys. So it's all organic. It's all from the heart, and it feels good to get it out there and to speak. So if you're still listening, thank you. It means a lot, for sure. The other thing I wanted to talk about before I ended the video was something unfortunate, unfortunately, and it's if you don't know, my parents split up when I was around 1 year old. So I've never knew any different, but because of that, I've always had two sides to my family, my dad's side and my mum's side. And unfortunately, during this time of me being ill, during this nearly 2 years period, I haven't had as much support, as much care, as much concern, as much love. I don't want to say as I would want, more so as I would hope for from family. You can't choose your family, but especially when you grow up with family that doesn't really have any major problems, has always seemed like they care about you, has always seemed like they love you. But then when you're in a dire position, I talk about this period in my life, but it's the hardest period of my life that I've ever experienced, and to not have the love and care of someone that you thought beforehand loved and care about you is really tough to take. I've posted Instagram stories, I think, about this, maybe vaguely, maybe briefly, but it's been one of the hardest parts, really, about this whole thing. People not taking me seriously. To this day, I haven't had one get well soon card. I kind of did from one person. They sent me a letter and some nice gifts. And if you're watching this, you know who you are, and I appreciate you very much. I didn't get either from either side of my family, but one side of my family has been very supportive, helping me with like chores around the house, getting me certain foods, just being there and showing interest and showing like they care. But the other side, certain people in particular, have just not been there at all. And I definitely posted this on my story, but around 6 months ago, that side of my family was horrible to me in a way that given my situation, I would have just never have thought. And in that moment, they were shouting at me, arguing with me in a time where I went to them for help and they weren't going to offer it. Instead, they offered the opposite. And in that moment, I told them that in the last 6 months, at that period of time, that they'd spent more time in a different country than they had at my house, checking in on me, helping me, seeing how I was. And that really put into perspective how little they cared, I guess. How insignificant my illness was to them. And that's a real shock to the system. I don't know if they'll ever see the error to their ways. I don't know if they'll ever own up to the lack of empathy they showed, the lack of concern they showed, whether they'll actually ever be concerned with me. And some of these people in my family, I've showed empathy towards. I've showed care towards them during difficult times, helped them in certain situations, and I just, in my worst time, in my time of need, I just never got that reciprocated. And you know, sometimes I look at it and think, well, that's the least of my worries. And, you know, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about these people because I've got myself to think about and the rest of my life to think about. And I just focus on the people that are there, whether it's friends or the other side of my family, and how much they're helping me, and I lean on them. But it's hard to ignore that lack of empathy, that unreciprocated love. It's a dagger to the heart. And, you know, it sucks because I don't want to cry, but you know, you think you love these people, you think they love you back, and just a simple act of love like sending a text to check in never came. Still hasn't came, and I don't think it will ever come. You can't choose who your family is. That's for certain. And there's nothing I can really do about them not acting in the way that I would hoped. That's down to them at the end of the day. I can't force them to do anything. I could go to them and tell them how I feel and break down in front of them. But that's really not the right thing to do. One, it would just make me look like an idiot. Two, it would make me look desperate. And three, I shouldn't have to force someone to love me and to show me care when they should be doing that already. So, yeah, life is tough. Life is strange, to quote one of my favorite games. But I do have great people around me still. I have you guys. I love my channel. I love the fact that I can still help people and be there for people who are going through struggles themselves, whether it's physical ones, mental ones, whether they just need a video to relax to at the end of a stressful week, or help with depression or anything. I love that I'm helping people and being there for them. it's one of my 3 main goals in life to help others and leave an impact on their lives. I've always been that type of person. I enjoy seeing others smile and being there for them, so the fact that I've still been ill, like the fact that I've been ill for so long, but I've still had this outlet, has been a real saviour. And there was times where I weren't posting, there's times where I've had to step down as I've had to reduce the number of videos I was making, the amount of content I was posting, my Twitch streams, and all you guys have been, supportive of that, and I'm so thankful for your understanding and patience and love. I've definitely felt it, so thank you. I don't know how much more I've got to say. I've probably been rambling on for a good 30-40 minutes at this point. I hope it's been informative. I've got what I needed to get from it, and just talking through my feelings, and that's been enough. And if only one person watches this all the way through, that'll mean the world. So yeah, if you've got any questions for me about anything I've talked about today, anything else, leave them down below. I'll definitely get back to you on them. I always try to reply. Leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed what I had to say, if you've resonated with it in any way. Subscribe if you're not subscribed to this channel already. That would mean a lot. This channel is just an outlet for me to talk about my feelings, talk about my past experiences, in a way that I would hope can help others. I know many lessons can be learned in life from others, and wisdom can be passed on. And that's one of my main hopes with this channel, is that I can connect with you guys in an emotional scale and help you go through similar things that I'm going through, and that means a lot. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and sorry that there wasn't a normal ASMR video this week. If you see my posts, there was just no ideas coming to me, and I didn't want to put something out there that my heart wasn't just in it fully, you know what I mean? That I wasn't fully committed to, because it would just come off as lackluster, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants a sad Sammy with no motivation or drive in his eyes, because you won't get a good ASMR video from that, and there'll be a lack of a connection between me and you guys, the viewers. So sorry for that, and hopefully there's another one coming up in the following week. Yeah, again, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here for me. I love you very much. I hope you're doing okay. If not, my videos are always here to help you along the way and to ease the pain. I feel privileged to be in that position to help you, so thank you so much. I hope you have a good day or night wherever you are in the world, and don't forget to love each other very much. Bye bye.